Another beautiful afternoon for baseball here in Walnut Creek, California. The Blues wrap up a 4-game road trip in NorCal at Monte Vista High School. They look for revenge after yesterday's walk-off win for Walnut Creek here this afternoon at Monte Vista High School. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the broadcast booth. My name is Nate Mills, calling the balls and strikes on the SLO Blues streaming network for you this afternoon. And this is the Ancient Owl pregame show. And a hello to everyone watching at Ancient Owl Beer Garden in San Luis Obispo right now for the SLO Blues watch party. Well, yesterday was a heartbreaker for San Luis Obispo, losing 11-10 in extra innings against Walnut Creek. The offense came alive for the Blues, but it was the final 3 innings for both sides, really, where the bats kind of went stagnant, and they were at a stalemate at 10-10 for a while there, until breaking it open and getting the W for Walnut Creek was John Ewens, a single into right field. It took a kind of a funny hop off of the new right fielder Andrew Raymond's glove. That bought some extra time for the automatic runner and Jared Medham to come around to score, and that's how the Dads beat the Blues yesterday. The Blues this week are 1-2 on the road. This is despite putting up 25 runs in these past 3 games. They have a losing record on the road right now. They look to even that up here, finish 2-2, and have a happy bus ride home to San Luis Obispo. Well, today might be a good chance for the Blues to collect that win because Aiden Sims is on the mound for the Blues, and he was stellar the last time he was out against the Menlo Park Legends. He pitched in Game 2 against Menlo Park, 4 innings there, 2 hits, and 5 strikeouts. Fastball topping out at 93 miles an hour. That's the hardest Blues pitcher we have seen so far this summer, and the slider was just wicked. 3,000 rotations per minute on that slider. Got a lot of hitters fooled and guessing, chasing after that pitch. I would expect to see it a lot more again today, and you couple that with the hard fastball as well. The Crawdads hitters are in for a treat, but that's not to say that Walnut Creek knows how to swing the sticks. They had a very aggressive offensive approach yesterday, and that's what eventually led to the Blues' demise. Their first pitch swinging, they're swinging early in the count. If they get a fastball in the zone, they're going to swing at it and usually hammer it, and with dimensions like here at Monte Vista High School, 325 at the corners, the ball's going to fly around. Now, the wind is blowing in from center field, and it did yesterday too. Might be the reason why we didn't see as many home runs as we're accustomed to seeing at Walnut Creek, but we'll see if the wind changes direction today and cooperates with the hitters. I know in batting practice today, a lot of the Blues guys were saying, why can't we hit the ball out? Why is the wind blowing in? Why couldn't it blow out for once? Because typically it blows in at Sinsheimer too. We're about to get ready to go, national anthem, and we are all set. Thanks for watching the Ancient Owl pregame show on the SLO Blues streaming network. My name is Nate Mills. We're going to take it back to the field, but I'll see you guys after this.
I'll give you guys the cue. I'll give you a 3 with a countdown, and go ahead and chug it, and don't hurt you good. Ready? 3, 2, 1, fire. Thanks, Dads. Appreciate you guys coming out. And happy Father's Day to all the dads that are in attendance today. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir. Ready to go from Monte Vista High School in Walnut Creek, California. The SLO Blues and the Walnut Creek Crawdads. The day after a walk-off winner for the Dads, the Blues look to split the series against them. Here's the starting lineup for your San Luis Obispo Blues. Sam Ardois leads it off. He'll play shortstop. Diego Murillo is the second baseman, batting second. And batting third, it's Don Jordan, the center fielder. Cleaning it up, it's Mason Ashlock in right, with Gavin Smith playing in left field for the second time today, batting fifth. Nico Button catches and bats sixth, with Kate O'Hara DHing and batting seventh. Batting eighth, it's Brendan Comerford. He'll play first base. And rounding it out in the ninth spot is Gavin Constantine, playing the hot corner for your SLO Blues. Here's a defensive alignment for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. Behind the dish, making his dad's debut, it's Zach Justice, with Ewens at first, Ellis at second, Leininger at third, and Medham at short. The outfield left to right is McGee, Johnson, and Donnelly, with Taylor DHing. And on the mound for the Walnut Creek Crawdads, it's the right-hander from University of Texas at Austin, George Zaharias. And Zaharias, a big body, a local kid from Menlo Park, playing in Walnut Creek this summer as a rising junior. He earned 4 varsity letters at Menlo Atherton High School and was a captain during his final high school season. Was also named the 2023 Daily Journal Baseball Player of the Year. He was also named the Peninsula Athletic League Bay Division Pitcher of the Year as a senior. And in that year, he had a .307 earned run average and 95 strikeouts in 45 and a third innings pitched. He also led his school to the first division title in the program history. He hasn't seen action yet at the University of Texas so far. In 2024, he redshirted to preserve his eligibility with the Longhorns. And then in 2025, did not play, was not listed on the Longhorns roster. Fastball around 88 to 92 miles an hour. He has a 3-pitch mix, the fastball, slider, and the changeup. And here's Ardois, who's been able to time up all of those pitches pretty well so far this summer. Ardois leading it off for the Blues today, with E.J. Royal kind of taking a precautionary rest day after taking a throw from Jared Medham at shortstop right into the knee, sliding into second base. Talked with E.J. before the game. He seems okay, just want to be safe. So here's Ardois on the first pitch from Zaharias, and it's at 4:04 p.m. 74 degrees and sunny here in the East Bay. Another beautiful afternoon for some baseball. The pitch was low and outside Ardois. Here's the 1-0. And Sam leaves another high fastball, 2 balls and no strikes. As I said, Ardois leading it off today for San Luis Obispo, with E.J. Royal taking a precautionary rest day. Took a baseball to the patella yesterday, sliding into second base. Just want to make sure he's good. 2-0. Ardois flinches, but it's a sweeper on the outer half for strike one. Royal took batting practice today. He also ran around in the outfield. He says he can bend the knee about 80%, 75%. There's a certain threshold where it stops. 2-1. Fastball missing high to Ardois. 3 balls and 1 strike. Appears to be good. Looked good taking swings. No problems there. Again, just want to be sure. So Ardois leading it off for the Blues for the first time this summer. He plays short as well. The 3-1. Ardois leaves it outside and a leadoff walk to start this ball game. Yesterday, Royal grounded out to the shortstop Medham to begin the game. Instead, it's some traffic on the base paths for the Blues to get it going. So with Ardois at first, it's Diego Murillo, the second baseman, batting second. Murillo in the transfer portal after his first season of university baseball at Northeastern State as he takes strike one. A wizard defensively. Made a lot of good plays at shortstop so far this summer, but playing second today, I'm sure he'll do just as fine. The pitch, and Murillo hits it hard down the third baseline and foul. Hanging slider that time from Zaharias. Probably won't go there again. No balls and 2 strikes to Murillo. A .287 batting average with the Riverhawks this past year at Northeastern State in Oklahoma. Now back home in San Luis Obispo, where he was born and raised. 0-2. Murillo rolls on a pitch inside that almost hit him in the face. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Diego. Murillo so far this summer, a .333 batting average, 6 hits in his 18 at-bats. He's making his 7th start for the Blues this summer. Low 1-2. And Murillo watches a four-seamer outside, evens it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Diego, an equal amount of hit by pitch, walks, and strikeouts. All 3 each. Average lead at first base for Ardois as Murillo fouls it off and out of play. We'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Diego, a former Cuesta Cougar, after graduating from San Luis Obispo High School. He's a local through and through. 2-2. Murillo swings and cues it off the end of the bat, but it will be gloved in foul territory by Ewens. Ardois will have to retreat back to first base. Again, a 2-2 count to Diego Murillo. As usual, wearing his cherry red batting gloves and wearing Zach Tollerman's blue elbow guard from San Jose State. Open stance, choking up on the bats. The 2-2. Murillo leaves it outside, and he's worked himself into a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And a little update on Zach Tollerman, too. He was a late scratch 2 games ago against the San Francisco Seagulls with ankle issues. Talked with him today. He says he's feeling much better. So might see Tollerman on the field soon. Payoff. Murillo leaves it high for ball 4. Back-to-back walks for the Blues, puts 2 runners on in the first. Already cooking with gas in the top of the first inning. That brings up Don Jordan. And Jordan, a deadly hitter for the Blues. Having a pretty fun summer so far as he rakes in SEC interest in the transfer portal after a season at Texas. Jordan batting .358, a .469 on base, and a .509 slugging so far. That's production. 19 hits on the season, too, for Don Jordan. That leads the team. First pitch, and Jordan with a big hack at a fastball outside for strike 1. He leads the team along with E.J. Royal, the standard leadoff man for the Blues. Taking a rest day today, a precautionary rest day with a bruised kneecap. Runners on first and second, and Jordan taps it behind home plate for strike 2. Don Jordan tough with 2 now and an 0-2 count. He struck out 8 times this summer. Compare that to his 8 walks and 3 hit by pitches. He's been minimizing the K numbers as best as possible, even with his violent swing. From the stretch, here's Zaharias. Strides and shoots, and Jordan chases the high fastball for strike 3. So the ratio goes by the K side for Don Jordan, and there's the first out of the inning for Mason Ashlock. First strikeout of the day for Zaharias, and there's 1 gone in the first inning. For the Blues, it's Ashlock now, playing right field for the first time this summer. Wearing a brand new all-black batting gloves on the first pitch, and Ashlock sends it straight back for strike 1. And here's another guy who takes hard cuts too. Mason Ashlock is always swinging as hard as he can. I talked with Rene Regalado before the game yesterday. Now he wants to hear the whoosh from guys' bats, starting their barrel plane behind their head, and Ashlock certainly does that. He's got the loudest whoosh on the team. Zaharias steps off and checks Ardois at second base. No throw. Ashlock stays in the batter's box. Feet still planted in their original location in a slightly open stance with his black tape around his wrist. Gets ready on the 0-1. The pitch, and Ashlock takes a 4-seamer outside for strike 2. Mason in the transfer portal. He decommitted from Nebraska a couple weeks ago. He was committed to the Cornhuskers after 2 years of JUCO ball where he mashed. The pitch. Both runners go. The throw goes to second base. It's not in time. The throw might have beat him, but the tag did not get Diego Murillo. So a stolen base for Murillo and for Ardois. Successful double steal. Puts 2 runners in scoring position for Ashlock. And the Crawdads infield did not like that call one bit. 1-2 count to Mason Ashlock. Trying to clutch up here, and he has been that so far this summer. 15 hits so far. The pitch. Fastball high, 2-2. 15 hits and has driven in 10 runs. Third on the team in runs batted in, behind Gavin Smith with 11 and Brendan Comerford with 17. Gavin Smith actually stands on deck. The 2-2. And Ashlock swings and misses for strike 3. Fastball in the outer half. That seems to be Ashlock's kryptonite so far this summer. Pitchers are starting to figure that out now. 2 gone for Gavin Smith. After 2 straight walks and a double steal, 2 straight strikeouts, and 2 gone in the first with runners on second and third. And here's Gavin Smith, standing upright in the batter's box, the first pitch, and Smith pumps but holds up on a fastball hitting the outer half for strike 1. Smith making his 11th start of the summer for the Blues, a .205 batting average with 8 hits and 39 at-bats. Big wave and a miss on a sweeper for strike 2. George Zaharias getting up on these Blues hitters following those 2 walks in a row. And he's punctuated those counts with Ks against Jordan and Ashlock, looking for his 3rd against Smith at an 0-2 count. Smith takes it for strike 3 on the outer half again. 3 straight strikeouts in a row, all on a fastball in the outer half of the plate, and the side is retired. 2 walks, both stranded on base, 0-0, heading the bottom half of the first inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. After back-to-back walks in the top of the first inning, Blues go in order, all via the strikeout. 3 straight Ks in a row for the starting pitcher, George Zaharias, for Walnut Creek, and now it's the bottom half of the order for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. Here's the lineup for the Dads. Trey Johnson leads it off, playing center field. Jared Medham, the former Blue, plays shortstop and bats second. Ryan Ellis, the second baseman, bats third. Cleaning it up, it's John Ewens over at first base. And batting fifth, Zach Justice catching and making his Dad's debut. Riley Leininger plays third and bats sixth, with Joey Donnelly playing in right field and batting seventh. Cam Taylor, the DH, bats eighth, and Casey McGee rounds it out in the ninth spot, playing left field. The defensive alignment for your San Luis Obispo Blues: Nico Button behind the dish. Brendan Comerford returns to first base with Murillo at second, Constantine at third, and Ardois at short. The outfield left to right is Gavin Smith, Don Jordan, and Mason Ashlock, with Cade O'Hara DHing for the Blues this afternoon. And on the mound for San Luis Obispo, it's the right-hander from Texas A&M, none other than Aiden Sims. He looked amazing against the Menlo Park Legends in Game 2 in that weekend series. That was his Blues debut. 4 innings of work, only allowing 2 hits and 5 strikeouts, no walks and no runs. The fastball topped out at 93 miles an hour, and the sweeper, it was disgusting. It fooled hitters left and right, coming in with 3,000 rotations per minute. That is a professional level of spin from Aiden Sims right here, and a tall order for the Crawdads this afternoon as the Blues look to take Game 2 against him. So here's Trey Johnson playing center field and leading it off for the Dads as Aiden Sims gets ready from the windup, burying his face in his maroon-colored glove, now kicking and shooting. And the first pitch is a fastball on the outside, not missing by much, but it's ball 1 to the leadoff man, Trey Johnson. Johnson, the only batter in the Walnut Creek lineup to go hitless yesterday. He's looking to change that around here. The 1-0. Fastball, this time now hitting the strike zone, 1-1 to Trey Johnson. Couple of Ks yesterday, a couple of ground ball outs, and 2 pop outs for Trey. The left-hander looking to create some traffic on the base paths. 1-1. And Johnson leaves a fastball low and outside, but nipping the corner of the strike zone for strike 2. And that's SEC location right there, folks. That fastball was perfectly placed off the arm from Sims. The 1-2. Johnson leaves a slider, taken on the outer half for strike 3. The last 4 batters to be retired from both sides have all gone down via strikeout. Sixth of the season for Aiden Sims. And now it's Jared Medham, a shortstop who played in 5 games with the Blues last year. Kind of a funny reunion during pregame and during the game between the Blues players and Medham. Hung around in the batting practice bubble, hanging out with Artois and company. First pitch to Medham, missing low and outside, 1-0. A native of Half Moon Bay and a loyal Gale to St. Mary's College. Not often you see one player committed to one school all 4 years of college. Medham is one of those rare cases. The 1-0. And Jared spits on a sweeper, but just misses below the zone. 2 balls and no strikes. A 5'11", 179-pound senior who just finished his past season at St. Mary's with a .297 batting average. Here's the 2-0. And Medham takes a slider, pretty much identical location, but this time called a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Was named the 2023 West Coast Conference All-Freshman Team. The pitch, and Medham hits a dribbler down the third base line and into the Blues bullpen foul. 2-2 now to Medham, who after that 2023 season has just gotten better each year. .255 average in year 1. In 24, a .256 average, and then last year a .297 average. The 2-2, and Medham breaks his bat on a grounder to Constantine at third. He shuffles and throws it over to first in time. Firewood for Jared Medham, and there's 2 gone in the first inning. And as a pitcher, that's just got to fuel your ego to Jared Medham. Against Jared Medham, when you break a hitter's bat like that, especially a hitter with the caliber of Jared Medham. We already know Aiden Sims has all the confidence in the world coming from a very nice program at Texas A&M. So here's Ryan Ellis batting third today for the Dads. First pitch is a hanging sweeper, but it misses high, 1-0. Ellis played in yesterday's game too, recorded 1 base hit in the first. He drove in the first Crawdads run of the day. They ended up scoring 11. The 1-0, and Ellis leaves it outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Reached base safely in his first 3 plate appearances of yesterday's game. After that single, a walk, and a hit by pitch, a couple of outs, including a strikeout to follow. The pitch, high and outside, 3 straight balls to Ryan Ellis. A left-handed hitting 3-hitter. Ellis is a utility man from UT Arlington, and like Medham, a former Gale from St. Mary's. Sims taking his time from the windup. Now the 3-0, and he takes it down the middle for strike 1. Ellis, a long history in the CCL. In 22 and 23, he was a freak for the Crawdads. An all-star in both of those years and led the CCL in doubles with 15 and stolen bases with 20 in 2022. Sweeper, plopping into the zone for a strike. 3-2 now from Aiden Sims. Ryan Ellis now working in a 2-strike count. Only struck out 13 times in 2023 with the Dads. Payoff is dribbled off to the right. Comerford will glove it and tap first base himself. The side is retired. 3 up, 3 down. Very clean inning for Aiden Sims to begin this ball game. We head into the second inning scoreless on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the second inning from Monte Vista High School in Walnut Creek, California. A beautiful day for some balls. Scoreless ball game heading into the frame. Nico Button, Kate O'Hara, and Brendan Comerford due up to face George Zaharias. First pitch to Button. Misses inside, 1-0. And the Blues had 2 walks in a row to begin this ball game, and then a successful double steal put runners at second and third. And right after that, 3 straight strikeouts in a row, all swinging to retire the side. Pitch to Button is in there for strike 1. And then after that, Walnut Creek went 1-2-3, a very clean inning from the starting pitcher Aiden Sims, the Aggie from Texas A&M, making his second start in a Blues uniform. Here's Button and a 1-1 count. He swings and is tardy on a fastball here, sending it up and out of play for strike 2. Nico, a returning Blue. He played for San Luis Obispo last summer and is joining us for the NorCal Swing Legends, Seagulls, Crawdads. This is the final game of a 4-game road trip. Button flinches on a pitch missing inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And it didn't miss by much. Nico Button might have gotten a call there, but he digs back in. Nico has 1 hit on the summer. He's 1 for 4. He's only started in 2 games, making his 3rd start today. The pitch? Button leaves it inside once again. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Nico Button. 3 walks this summer, has not struck out yet. Small sample size for Nico. Here's the payoff. Button leaves a 4-seamer high, and that's ball 4. Second inning in a row, a leadoff walk for the Blues, and that brings up Kate O'Hara, today's DH. O'Hara started in yesterday's game as well. Hit a towering double into left center field in the 3rd inning and came around to score. That was his only hit. 3 ground ball outs and a strikeout, too, for Kate O'Hara. Making his 8th start this year with the Blues as a 2-way player, a shortstop with a cannon, and a pitcher also with a cannon. Button at first with an average lead, and O'Hara watches the floating changeup flutter above the zone for ball 1. O'Hara, with a .310 batting average, has driven in 3 runs on his 9 hits. Has struck out 12 times to his 4 walks and is hit by 1 pitch. Fastball in there for a strike, 1-1 to Kate O'Hara. In the transfer portal after a couple of seasons at Texas. Feeling good so far this summer with the Blues. Has made a nice couple of plays over at shortstop, and his arm has really been special. Pops it up here, playable in the infield for the first baseman Ewens, who catches it right behind the first base bag for the first out of the inning. O'Hara gets underneath the fastball here, and there's 1 gone in the second, and it brings up Brendan Comerford. Comerford with an afternoon to forget yesterday against the Crawdads. He batted 6th and a trio of strikeouts and a ground ball out, and was also hit by a pitch. He's working here. A new day with a runner at first. Comerford swings and misses at the first offering for strike 1. That's one thing that Comerford is working on in this summer, trying to reduce the K rate and stop swinging at pitches out of the zone, whether they be at his eyes or missing on the outer half. Here's the 0-1. And Comerford ducks out of a fastball high and tight, 1 ball and 1 strike. I was talking to him before the game in batting practice. Asked him how he was doing. He said, well, looking forward to better days ahead. Good way of thinking. Closed off stance in the box. He swings and hits a laser beam into left center field, a base hit. Button round second, he's coming into third. The throw is going into second base, and that's all Comerford will get. A single for Brendan Comerford, hot off the press into left field. First hit of the day for the Blues. And Comerford hit it well. So now runners at the corners for Gavin Constantine. And if Comerford had a bad day yesterday, Constantine's had a bad summer so far. Just trying to get on the right page. That's his past season at St. Bonaventure, where he batted .250. First pitch up and away for ball 1. He improved from this last season at St. Bonaventure. I was talking to him how he was saying that first year of Division I baseball was pretty daunting. He batted .105 and just couldn't play like himself. Constantine laid on a fastball here for strike 1. Turn it around with a lot more playing time, too, at St. Bonaventure. A .250 average, a .325 on base percentage, 18 hits, 3 of them for extra bases, all doubles. Not the same here. 1-1, missing low and outside. 2 balls and a strike now. Hitters count to Gavin Smith, batting south of 100 so far. Only 1 hit in his 18 at-bats. He's making his 5th start for the Blues today. Got an opportunity here to turn the page and score a runner from third. 2-1, and Constantine pops it up into center field. Johnson had a tough time reading it, and he gets under it with momentum going home. Here comes the throw. It bounces off the mound, and it's offline. Nico Button scores. Sacrifice fly for Gavin Constantine, and the Blues strike first. 1-0 in the top of the second inning. Baseball, baseball, baseball. Some small ball heading into center field on that fly ball. Very shallow center. Johnson, I don't think, saw it off the bat very well. He took a couple steps backwards and frantically came in. It was a good throw, but I think just kind of took a weird bounce off the mound, and the catcher, Justice, couldn't glove it. Nice slide from Button, too. So on the sac fly, Comerford stayed at first base. And with 2 outs, it's the top of the order, Sam Ardois. First pitch to Ardois, swung on and missed for strike 1. Ardois with the leadoff walk back in the first inning. One of the legs and a double steal. He successfully stole third, but was stranded there. 0-1. Ardois leaves it low, a ball and a strike. And Sam and I, before the game, talked about Louisiana cuisine. He's from Lake Charles, Louisiana, and all the options. Obviously, crawfish boil. Ardois sends it straight back for strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes to Sam Ardois. Crawfish boil was obviously a topic of interest as the Blues are playing the Crawdads today. I was trying to see if his parents are ever to come out to the Golden State to watch him play. And O'Hara said he better bring some of that boil. Choking up on the 2-strike count. And Ardois leaves it outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jambalaya, gumbo, crawfish boil, fried catfish. The list goes on. 2-2. Ardois leaves it high, filling it up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. My personal favorite, I think the jambalaya is good because it's very repeatable. I can have the jambalaya frequently with the rice, the tomatoes, and the shrimp. But gumbo is good if I want to get down and dirty. Payoff pitch. Ardois dribbles it off to the right and foul. Comerford was taken off towards second base, so we'll head back to first. Diego Murillo stands on deck, one of the 2 walks in the first inning. 3 walks on the day for the Blues, still early on, and 3 strikeouts, too. All came in a row to end the first. Blues coming off a sacrifice fly from Gavin Constantine. Comerford takes off, and Ardois spoils it foul. Once again, 3 balls and 2 strikes for Sam Ardois. Ardois, another returner to the Blues this summer. Played in San Luis Obispo last year and went to Louisiana Lafayette in the spring. Now in the transfer portal after an unsuccessful season there with the Raging Cajuns. Comerford goes again, and Ardois pops it up again. Comerford running sprints over there at first base. He's surely getting those cardio reps running over to second base and back. Ardois just keeps fouling off these pitches. Pitch number 9 coming up for Sam Ardois in this at-bat. Comerford takes off again, and Ardois hits a line drive into left center field. It gets down for a base hit. Ardois rounds first. He heads into second. Comerford gets the wave from Rene Regalado. He's in at home standing. RBI double for Sam Ardois. Makes it a 2-0 ball game. Spice bringing back the old Blues celebration at second base. Leaning back, pulling that belt string around his waist. Feeling good after making it a 2-0 ball game. A 2-out rally here, and Diego Murillo is stepping up with Ardois at second base. It's been so fun to see the progression of Sam Ardois, hitting so much better this season with the Blues than he did last year. Murillo leaves the first offering outside. 1 ball and no strikes. And especially if you look at Ardois' numbers at Louisiana Lafayette. A year to forget for him. Could be a reason why he's hitting the portal as well. Nice to see him have some fun here on the Central Coast. The 1-0. Murillo pops it up to the second baseman Ellis, who calls everyone off, and he can't make the play. Ardois with the heads-up base running takes off to home, head first slide, and the tag's in time. Ardois got some good speed on the base paths, and he got a little risky there. Tried to catch the infield sleeping, but Ewens got the throw to the catcher Justice just in time, but not before the Blues tack on two, a sacrifice fly from Constantine and an RBI double from Sam Ardois, make it a 2-0 ball game. Headed to the bottom half of the second on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom of the second inning, and the Blues strike first. A sacrifice fly from Gavin Constantine into center field, and a 10-pitch at-bat resulting in an RBI double for Sam Ardois makes it a 2-0 game. Now 4, 5, 6 are due up for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. Middle of the order, John Ewens, Zach Justice, and Riley Leininger. Aiden Sims back on the rubber for the Blues. The first pitch is swung on and foul-tipped into the mid of Button for strike one. Ewens, the left-handed hitting first baseman, batting cleanup today for the Crawdads. A Baylor Bear from Waco, Texas, entering his redshirt sophomore season in the Big 12 as he leaves a pitch high. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ewens. Didn't play in spring of 2024 due to injury and utilized another redshirt season for Baylor this past year. Fouled straight back and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And actually made 4 starts with the Baylor Bears last year. A 158 average, a 304 on base at 211 slugging. 3 hits and 19 at-bats, 6 strikeouts and 2 walks. The 1-1. And Ewens hits it off the knob of the bat. A foul ball that goes into the backstop for strike 2. Centimeters away from being a free pass, a hit by pitch from Aiden Sims. And unfortunately for Ewens, it doesn't go that way. So 1-2 now for Ewens. From the windup, the pitch. And Ewens hits it in the air to left field. Smith sizes it up and gallops to his right to make the catch for the first out of the inning. So now making his Crawdads debut, it's the catcher Zach Justice, batting 5th. The former Oregon Duck, who only saw action in 2 games, playing in 2 seasons in Eugene. A Bend, Oregon native himself. He went 0 for 2 in those 2 games with a walk and a hit by pitch. He did score 2 runs as well. Redshirt sophomore, that's 6'1", 210 pounds, and was at one time ranked the top catcher and the number 6 overall player in the state of Oregon, according to Perfect Game. The first pitch, missing high and tight for ball 1. And Justice was also nationally ranked as the number 63rd catcher by Perfect Game, too. First team All-State, first team All-Mountain Valley Conference as a senior. as he foul tips it off Nico Button's chest for strike one. Born in Berkeley, California, moved to the Pacific Northwest when he went later in life. And he swings and misses here for strike two. Electrifying slider from Aiden Sims. That thing is just so gross. The 1-2. Buckled up on another slider for strike three. Justice goes down looking in his first at-bat as a Crawdad, and it's the second out of the second inning. 2 Ks on the day so far for Sims, as it brings up Riley Leininger, the third baseman, batting sixth. 2-0 ball game. Blues got their 2 on a sacrifice fly and a double. Now in the bottom half of the second inning, here's the first pitch, and Leininger leaves it up and outside for ball one. Riley played in yesterday's game 2 for the Crawdads. Just 1 base hit in the third inning, and it scored a run. Part of a 4-run inning for Walnut Creek. Leininger contributed with that single. The 1-0. Leininger checks his swing and went around for strike one. Leininger with a couple of ground ball outs, a line out to O'Hara at short, and a walk in yesterday's game as well. Dropping 1 spot in the batting order today, batting 6th instead of 5th. The pitch, and Leininger pops it up and out of play, out of the stadium. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Riley Leininger. Leininger with the .263 average so far this summer, playing in his 6th game with the Dads, 5 for 19. The pitch, Leininger pumps but leaves that one alone downstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A redshirt freshman from Georgetown, Texas, entered the transfer portal after redshirting a season at Oklahoma. The pitch, and Leininger lines it down the right field line and foul, where it looks like there's action in that Crawdads bullpen. That's Ryan Delaney, a 6 foot, 200-pound left-hander with those high stirrups, getting hot for the Crawdads. Here we are on a 2-2 count to the former Sooner, Riley Leininger. Sims winds up and shoots. Curveball slipping out of his fingertips and missing high, fills the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. One run driven in this summer, 2 walks and 2 strikeouts for Leininger. The pitch, and Riley hits a towering shot into right center field off a changeup, and Jordan is called off by Mason Ashlock, who makes the final putout to retire the side. Another 1-2-3 inning for Aiden Sims. It brings up the Blues in the top of the third. Blues up 2-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the third inning, Blues up 2-0 over the Walnut Creek Crawdads. And fans, it's never too early to purchase those tickets for our signature firework game on July 3rd. Celebrate the Stars and Stripes and watch the Blues play under the lights at our biggest game of the summer. Save your seat now and secure those tickets at bluesbaseball.com. 3, 4, 5 due up for San Luis Obispo. Don Jordan, Mason Ashlock, and Gavin Smith. All three struck out all in a row to end the first inning, and now they get redemption here against George Zaharias. Jordan's first pitch misses low and outside for ball 1. Don Jordan playing in center field today, the first time he will play in center for the Blues all summer. He talked about before hitting the transfer portal how the coaches at Texas wanted to see him at center. He bounces it into the Blues dugout here for strike 1, 1-1 to Don Jordan. Obviously, plans have changed. He has since hit the transfer portal and looking for a new Division I 4-year. Talking to some SEC schools already. It makes sense the way he's been producing for the Blues so far this summer. Here's the 1-1, and Jordan hits a slow bouncing ball to the right. First baseman Ewens has got it, flips it over to the pitcher Zaharias at first, and retires Jordan for the first out of the inning. Don Jordan with all the speed in the world, the fastest Blue on the team, but not enough to win the foot race over to first.
Right fielder, Mason Ashlock.
So now it's Mason Ashlock, another outfielder in the transfer portal for San Luis Obispo. Had a couple of very, very nice seasons of junior college baseball, one at Temple College and one at Weatherford College in the Lone Star State of Texas. Used to be committed to Nebraska, but a few weeks ago decommitted from the Cornhuskers and is looking for another program as well. As a Texas native, he would like to stay in the Lone Star State. Zaharias looks like he'll come out of this game. And Delaney will check in for the Crawdads. We'll tell you more about the new noodle for Walnut Creek right after this on the Slow Blue Streaming Network. New left-hander on the mound for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. It's the southpaw from Bucknell University, Ryan Delaney, a native of Danville, California, and a rising senior, has made 7 appearances in his career with the Bisons, making 0 start, a 24 earned run average, and in 4 1/3 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts, 9 walks, and 12 earned runs. Looking to flip those numbers around here this summer, and a bases empty for Mason Ashlock as the first pitch to Ashlock misses low and outside for ball 1. George Zaharias' day is done. 2 1/3 innings of work, 2 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Here's Ashlock, and he swings and puts it on the ground to the left side. Weird hop for Leininger, but he gobbles it up and throws it over to first in time to retire Ashlock for the second out of the inning. 2 ground ball outs for the Blues, and that brings up Gavin Smith, the left fielder who struck out swinging to end the first inning. A final chain of 3 strikeouts in a row from Zaharias. Smith, the utility player from Arizona, plays Division I baseball at Harvard. First pitch, Smith watches a floating changeup outside, 1-0. And primarily played in the outfield, in the corner outfield at Harvard University, and came to San Luis Obispo and has consistently played third base. 1-0, and Smith grounds it to the shortstop Medham, who charges it, makes the throw on the run in time to retire Smith, and the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down for the Blues in the top of the third inning. They lead the Crawdads 2-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Blues up 2-0 in the bottom of the third inning, which is brought to you by the talented team at Studio Design Group Architects. Whether you're designing, planning, or needing permits for a new space, Studio Design Group and their collaborative philosophy have you covered. Visit sdgarchitects.com to learn more. Bottom of the order due up for the Walnut Creek Crawdads, Joey Donnelly, Cam Taylor, and Casey McGee. Aiden Sims with consecutive 3 up, 3 down innings for San Luis Obispo. Fastball bouncing out of the glove of Button, but it's a called strike to Donnelly. Joey played in yesterday's game, too, for Walnut Creek. He batted 7th there. A 3-hit day. Scored a couple of runs, walked, and grounded out as well. Curveball in there for a strike. 0-2 to Joey Donnelly. Donnelly and the catcher, Nico Button, are awfully familiar with each other. They were roommates at Cal Berkeley. The 0-1 popped up weakly down the left field line. Plenty of space for Smith, but he won't have a play as it hits against the fence. 0-2 to Joey Donnelly. And Nico and Joey exchanging some words before the game today, just kind of reconnecting. Both of them hitting the transfer portal after 4 years at Cal Berkeley. Both looking for a graduate program, and Donnelly has put up some pretty good CCL numbers so far. Donnelly hits a base hit in the right field. A leadoff single for Joey Donnelly, his 9th of the summer. He is 9 of 15 for Walnut Creek. Talk about those good numbers? Well, there you go. First base hit of the day for the Crawdads, and it comes in the bottom of the third inning. So here's Cam Taylor. Taylor from Lithonia, Georgia, a 6'2", 220-pound rising junior from Eastern Kentucky, utility man from the South. Making his first appearance against the Blues. He checks a swing on a fastball. It's a called strike. Played at Florence Darlington Tech. He redshirted his first season at Division III JUCO, which is just known for producing some pretty ridiculous talent, a feeder of South Carolina. Bouncing ball to the right. Comerford fields it in foul ground. Went to second base thinking it was fair, but Donnelly will retreat back to first. 0-2 count to Cam Taylor, who after that first year at the Florence Darling Tech JUCO powerhouse, Went to Andrew College. Was a redshirt freshman there and played in 54 games and batted at a .344 clip. 4 doubles, 5 triples, and 49 runs batted in at Andrew. Earned him a Division I spot at Eastern Kentucky, where he played his redshirt sophomore season last year. Made 9 starts in 15 games. 6 times at second base and 3 as a designated hitter. The pitch, and Taylor watches a fastball high, 1-2. First year of Division I baseball was a bit of a rude awakening for Cam Taylor, a .115 average with 3 runs batted in. 6 walks to his 13 strikeouts and 3 extra base hits. The 1-2. And Taylor gets hit on the shoe tops with a fastball. And based on the urgency, looked like Taylor went unscathed. So Donnelly took off to second base on the wild pitch from Aiden Sims. And Cam Taylor was not hit. Could have swore I heard a shoe top or something. But he's staying in the left-handed batter's box, scraping up some dirt and making his feet that much more comfortable. And he's here in a 2-2 count. Donnelly in scoring position, and Cam Taylor is the tying run. And time is called by the home plate umpire. Speaking to a chatty Walnut Creek dugout, which has been very vocal. We are missing some voices, though, in right field. Some brand new bleachers on top of a storage container. It was full of fans yesterday, now completely empty. 2-2. Taylor pops it up off the hands and out of play to the left side. 2 balls and 2 strikes once again. Looked like a lot of buddies of the guys on the Walnut Creek Crawdads, college-age kids with some foldable lawn chairs on top of a green storage container in right. Heckling, chirping, drinking some beer. Oh, yeah. Summer baseball's in mid-season form. Look at second, the 2-2. And Taylor hits it hard and high to center field. Jordan circles it, makes the grab, runner tags from second, and he fake broke to third. 1 hop to Constantine at the bag. No tag for Donnelly. And the first out of the inning is a fly ball out to the center fielder, Don Jordan. So now it's Casey McGee. Left-handed hitting outfielder from Laney College with a runner on second base. The San Francisco native is a rising junior who attended Sacred Heart High School in 2024. Played in 39 games and started in all of them. Batting just south of 400, a 500 on base, and a 494 slugging. In that high school season, Sims from the stretch misses outside for ball 1. And then last year at Laney College, played in 43 games. Equally as impressive numbers and 161 at-bats. Batted .385, a 492 on base, and a 565 slugging. Getting that slugging number up for Casey McGee. The 1-0. McGee leaves this one outside, 2-0. And with that great season at Laney College, including 22 extra base hits out of his 62 total hits, he will now be a road runner at Cal State Bakersfield and playing Division I baseball. The Bakersfield commit waiting for Sims to come set. And at the chest, he does. A look at second, the 2-0. And McGee hits a slow roller off the hands. Ardois gobbles it up, makes the throw to first. Comerford picks it on the bag for the out. Nice play by Brendan Comerford at first base. There's 2 gone in the 3rd inning. Donnelly advanced to third on the ground ball to Sam Ardois. And first run of the day for Walnut Creek, 90 feet away, and sets up the leadoff hitter, Trey Johnson, well. Johnson struck out looking in the bottom of the 1st inning. He's 0 for 1 today. The only hitter in yesterday's lineup for the Dads to not record a base hit. Still on the quest to do so here. 3 strikeouts in this short stint with the Blues. First pitch, and Johnson leaves it outside, ball 1. Trey from Walnut Creek, California. From Skyline College is batting .321 this summer. 9 hits in his 28 at-bats heading into today's game. Here's the 1-0. And Johnson hits it hard into right center field. It falls in for a hit. Joey Donnelly will score on the RBI single from Trey Johnson, his first hit against the Blues this summer. So after back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for Aiden Sims, he allows 2 hits and a run to come in to score in the third inning. A 2-1 ball game. The Blues still lead. So here's Jared Medham, the shortstop who grounded out to Constantine the last time he was up. Medham batting .389 heading into this ball game, making his 4th start for Walnut Creek, as ball 1 is issued to him. 7 for 18 coming into today's game. No extra base hits. He's driven in 8 runs. 2 walks to his 1 strikeout so far. Medham grounds it off to the right to Murillo, who throws it over to first in time and retires the side. But the Crawdads get on the board. An RBI single from Trey Johnson makes it a 2-1 Blues lead. We head into the 4th inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. Nico Button, Kate O'Hara, and Brandon Comerford due up in this ball game. A 2-1 lead for San Luis Obispo. Crawdads scratched across their first run of the day off an RBI single from the leadoff man, Trey Johnson, in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. We're in the top of the 4th now at Monte Vista High School in Walnut Creek, California. Button's first pitch to him misses inside for ball 1. Nico, in his first plate appearance and a leadoff walk in the 2nd inning, he eventually came around to score on a sacrifice fly from Gavin Constantine. Bounces it off to the right, and a foul ball for Nico Button, 1-1. And Nico, a nickname from Rene Regalado, the hitting coach, the tactician. As a sweeper misses outside to him, 2 balls and 1 strike. Just very mechanically sound on the swing. Coach Regalado always likes to point out Button's mechanics to me because they're just so repeatable. And he leaves a changeup here for strike 2. Just a nice left-handed swing. Almost rigid looking, but the barrel path is in the zone for such a long time. That's where Button finds most of his success. 2-2. Nico swings and misses for strike 3 on the sweeper. And Nico makes sure that the home plate umpire, that pitch was in fact a strike. Gets some clarification. The 4th strikeout of the day for the Blues offense. So a leadoff K, and that brings up Kate O'Hara. O'Hara popped out to the first baseman Ewens the last time he was up. And Kate has made some nice adjustments hitting-wise this summer, too. A lot shorter swing. You can tell there's a lot of intent in his batting practice, too. Four-seamer misses outside, 1-0. And in the portal, trying to find a new university, he kind of left, but no choice to try to make some hitting adjustments that will be enticing for a coach, as he's tardy on a fastball here, 1-1. O'Hara very smooth in the infield for the Blues. McCannon over at shortstop. Trying to have the bat match the defense. The pitch O'Hara drills it into left field, and McGee calls off the center fielder Johnson. He makes the grab. That's what I'm talking about right there. A much shorter approach for Cade O'Hara. He just had the little toe tap, got the timing correct, hit it on the screws, but it was right to McGee, who just had to take a few steps to his left to make the play. So now 2 outs after the line drive out to the left fielder McGee, and that brings up Brendan Comerford. Comerford singled in the second inning, a frozen rope, and came around to score on the RBI double from Sam Ardois. He was rather gassed after coming in to score because prior to that, Ardois was in a 10-pitch battle with the then starting pitcher Zaharias, and Comerford kept taking off towards second base and was essentially just running sprints to the bag and back. He stands in here on a 2-0 count, digging in with a close stance in the batter's box. And so Comerford, already panting and gasping for air like anyone would be, had to go from first to home. Leaves a changeup on the outer half. 2 balls and 1 strike to Brendan Comerford, who just got his cardio in the last time he was on the base paths. 1 for 1 today with a single after a rough day yesterday at the dish. Underneath the pitch here, a high pop out to right field, and Donnelly calls off his center fielder Johnson and makes the one-handed squeeze to retire the side. Back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for the Crawdads pitching. We head into the bottom of the 4th inning. Blues up 2-1 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Blues up 2-1 over the Crawdads in the bottom of the 4th inning. It's brought to you by SLO County Golf. 3 courses in SLO, Morro Bay, and Atascadero. They offer a unique combination of beautiful scenery and affordable prices. Book your next tee time at slowcountygolf.com. 3-4-5 due up for Walnut Creek. Ryan Ellis' first pitch swinging. He bounces it to the ground right side off the wrist of Diego Murillo at second base. An error from Diego Murillo. You don't see that too often. And Ryan Ellis is aboard. That's the tying run at first base for Walnut Creek. A costly mistake, potentially, for Diego Murillo. Still a chance to flip a double play here. Aiden Sims trying to induce a ground ball out of John Ewens, who flew out to Gavin Smith the last time he was up. First error of the day for the Blues. The Blues only have 2 games this summer, and keep in mind they've played in 15, where they have not recorded an error. Ewens pitch to him, misses low and inside, and Ellis takes off to second base gingerly, and he's in there standing. Ellis, remember, dealing with a knee injury, kind of rehabbing that right knee still, and he was very slow to get to second, but Button was even slower to get to that baseball. So a free pass to Ryan Ellis, who is now in scoring position just like that. Ellis represents the tying run, a 1-0 count to John Ewens. Sims closed off in his stance from the stretch. Peeks at second base, now comes home. Fastball down the middle of the plate for strike 1. 1-1 count, a 2-1 ball game. The Blues lead the Crawdads. A sac fly and a double for the Blues, and an RBI single for the Dads. 1-1. Pitch missing low and outside. Button slides to his left to get there. 2 balls and a strike to John Ewens. Ewens played in yesterday's game, too, for Walnut Creek. A very similar lineup today as we're seeing compared to yesterday. 4 hits in yesterday's game, 2 of them bringing runs. 2-1. Ewan checks his swing, but it's a pitch in the dirt. He didn't go around. 3 balls and a strike, a hitter's count to the left-handed hitting first baseman from Baylor. Redshirted his first season for the Bears and played in his first year officially last season. Zach Justice stands on deck. He's making his Crawdads debut and struck out swinging the last time he was up. The 3-1. And Ewens takes it for ball 4. Fastball in the outer half of the zone. Didn't miss by much. And it's a walk to John Ewens. Puts the go-ahead runner on first base for Zach Justice. Justice has played in 2 games for Oregon in his 2 seasons with the Ducks. Is now in the transfer portal because of that lack of playing time. Looking for a new Division I program. Certainly proven Division I player. Look at his numbers in high school and it all makes sense. First pitch, and he hits it hard into right field. Ashlock makes the catch, and both the runners stay at their stations. Big out there for Aiden Sims to finally get one on the board with the go-ahead run at first and the tying run at second base. So a line drive out from Zach Justice, and that brings up Riley Leininger. Leininger also flew out to Ashlock the last time he was up. It ended the second inning. A Georgetown, Texas native. Batting .263 for the Crawdads heading into today's game. First pitch to him. And he hits it off the end of the bat to Comerford at first, who goes to second for 1. Ardois has trouble gloving it. They'll try to back pick at third. And Ellis is back in there safely. So Comerford got the force out at second base, and Ardois tried to catch Ellis sleeping at third, but the second baseman gets back in time. So the tying run now stands 90 feet away. And it's Joey Donnelly, who has recorded one of the 2 Crawdads hits today, a former teammate and a former roommate of Nico Button behind the dish. With 2 outs, here's the first pitch, and he's first pitch swinging, and he drops it into right field, a single that brings in a run and ties the game. Joey Donnelly is 2 for 2 on the afternoon after a 3-hit day yesterday and ties the game at 2 apiece. Runners at first and second now. The go-ahead run in scoring position. That's Riley Leininger over on the bag. There's Cam Taylor from Eastern Kentucky University, a Georgia native. 0 for 1 today with a fly out to Don Jordan in center field. First pitch, and he checks his swing, but it is a called strike either way. 0-1. Taylor started his college career at Florence Darling at Tech, and JUCO powerhouse. Played well at Andrew College and trying to get accustomed to the D1 level. Taylor pops it into left center field. Jordan giving chase at the fence. He can only look up. It's gone. 3-run home run for Cam Taylor, and the Crawdads pour on. First game, Cam Taylor faces the Blues, and he's making his presence felt with that bomb. How about the backside juice for Cam Taylor? Going the opposite way, a fastball that was up in the zone. He just went with the pitch, served it out into left center, and you won't be seeing that one again. .377-foot bomb, just under 100 miles off the bat from Cam Taylor. Here's McGee with the bases empty now and a 5-2 Walnut Creek lead. Ball 1 to him. McGee grounded out to Ardois the last time he was up. The 1-0. And McGee swings and misses for strike one. Blues 1-2 on a 4-game road trip right now. They're trying to even up against the Walnut Creek Crawdads, but are trailing by 3 following a 3-run homer. 1-1. And McGee spits on a 4-seamer outside. 2 balls and a strike now to Casey McGee. McGee, no stranger to the CCL. He played for the Alameda Merchants last summer. Finished with a .326 batting average and 89 at-bats. And he gets hit on the knob here. Second time that's happened today to Walnut Creek hitters. For strike 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Casey McGee. I can't say I've seen that too often. Within a couple of innings, I've seen 2 Walnut Creek hitters get hit on the knob of the baseball bat. Either way, a 2-2 count to McGee, who can hit well to all parts of the field. Just like his predecessor, Cam Taylor, who just hit an opposite field home run. 2-2. McGee leaves it outside. Button comes out of his squat, filling it up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So far this summer, he's off to a slower start. Came into today's game 1 of 13. Scored 2 runs and was driven in 2 as well. He does walk more than he strikes out, though, 6 compared to 4. And McGee dances out of the way of a fastball inside. It's ball 4. Casey McGee with a 2-out walk, and Sean York about to get hot in the Blues bullpen. Brandon Comerford, Nico Button, and now the rest of the infield converge at the mound for a quick visit with their right-hander, Aiden Sims. And Sims was working real easily through the first 2 innings, recording 3 outs in a row, and then had some trouble in the third, an RBI single. That's going to happen. It's baseball. But in this inning, a 3-run homer and an RBI single have scored 4 runs for Walnut Creek. They now have the lead 5-2 over the Blues. So a runner at first, and it's the top of the order in Trey Johnson, who hit an RBI single in the 3rd inning. First pitch, and it's left outside, 1-0 to Johnson. One and 0 to Trey Johnson. Fastball in there for a strike, evens it up at a ball and 1 strike. And Johnson is very familiar with Walnut Creek, as he and his father would come to batting practice and to games when Johnson was growing up in this city. Full circle moment as he's donning the red and black, sending it straight back into the fencing for strike 2. 1-2 to Trey Johnson. And Trey's dad, one of the 6 to throw out today's first pitch as we get ready for Father's Day tomorrow. The Crawdads all coming out there to throw to their sons this afternoon. The 1-2. Johnson watches a curveball high and outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And not only would he check out BP and the games with his father when he was a kid, but they practiced at his high school, so of course he'd hang out with the players as well. Swing and miss, and strike 3 from Aiden Sims. Crawdads strand a runner on first base, but not before a 3-run homer and an RBI single from Joey Donnelly. Walnut Creek takes the lead 5-2 over the Blues. We head into the 5th inning on the Slow Blues streaming network. Top of the fifth inning here from Monte Vista High School, and the Blues now trail 5-2 against the Walnut Creek Crawdads. Game 4 of a 4-game road series in Northern California. Blues lost Game 1 against Menlo Park, beat the Seagulls in Game 2, and lost walk-off style yesterday against the Walnut Creek Crawdads. Here's Gavin Constantine leading it off and the recipient of strike 1 against Ryan Delaney, who heads back out there for his third inning of work. Constantine flinches but misses on the sweeper inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to the St. Bonaventure Bonnie, Gavin Constantine. The 1-1. And Constantine swings and misses on the changeup for strike 2. And Delaney's been living with that changeup all outing. A heavy dosage to these Blues hitters. They're having trouble timing it up and barreling it up. 1-2. Fastball outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And I talked about earlier the empty bleachers out in right field. Well, they're back. Wind blowing in from center field. Oh, 2-2. Constantine finds a barrel and it falls into left center field, a base hit. Leadoff single for Gavin Constantine, the third of the afternoon for the Blues. And that's got to feel good for Constantine, someone who's been struggling so far this summer. Only his second hit in 2025 for the Blues. I'll take it because the Blues need his speed on the base paths as they try to cut into a 5-2 deficit. Leadoff man Sam Ardois swings over a changeup for strike 1. Ardois hit an RBI double in the second, scoring Brendan Comerford from first, and walked and stole third base in the first inning. The 0-1, and Ardois dribbles it to the third baseman Leininger, who goes to second for 1, and the Crawdads turn the double play. Constantine reached on the leadoff single, and just like that, there's 2 gone in the 5th. Here's Diego Murillo now. Last inning, he recorded the Blues' first error of the ball game. I talked about it earlier. The Blues have only had 2 games where they have recorded no errors. One of them was a loss. First pitch to Murillo misses outside, 1-0. Diego 0 for 1 today. Misplayed pop-up from Ellis at second base. Landed on the infield dirt, but threw out Ardois at home. Now 2-0 to Diego Murillo, who also walked today and stole second base. A successful double steal with Sam Ardois. Murillo sends it straight back for strike 1. And Diego kind of having a sneaky summer with San Luis Obispo. Entering today's game with his .330 batting average, 6 hits, and his 18 at-bats. 0 for 1 today. On the right track. And Diego patiently waits on a slider to spin above the strike zone. 3 balls and 1 strike to Murillo. Don Jordan stands on deck for the Blues. Delaney comes set, and the southpaw delivers. And Murillo underneath a fastball here. It pushes Donnelly back, and now to the left, and he makes the flat-footed grab for the third out of the inning. Leadoff single from Gavin Constantine, but a double play turned by the Dads finish off with a pop out to right field. 5-2 Walnut Creek, halfway home from Monte Vista High School on the SLO Blues streaming network. halfway through from Monte Vista High School, and the Blues trail 5-2 against the Walnut Creek Crawdads. Game 4 of a 4-game NorCal swing. 2-3-4 due up for the Dads. Jared Medham, Ryan Ellis, and John Ewens up to face Aiden Sims back out there for his 5th inning. First pitch to Medham misses high and outside for ball 1. Well, the Blues started off first in terms of scoring, an RBI double from Sam Ardois. And then a sacrifice fly from Gavin Constantine made it a 2-0 game, as Medham almost hit by a fastball here. 2 balls and no strikes from Sim. Was then countered with an RBI single from Trey Johnson, and then a blow-up 4th that included another RBI single and a 3-run homer from Cam Taylor. Now here we sit 5-2 with Jared Medham at the dish. And the pitch to him is a fastball in there for a strike. 2-1 to Jared Medham, who, regardless of despite his unorthodox movements over at shortstop, has made some pretty solid plays. Medham checks his swing. They appeal to first. He didn't go around. 3 balls and 1 strike to Jared Medham, the former Blue. Medham with good bat-to-ball skills and a new stick after breaking his baby blue barrel the last time he was up. Rolls inside of a curveball that misses in for ball 4. 3rd walk of the day issued from Aiden Sims, and a leadoff base runner for the Crawdads. Here's Ryan Ellis with Jared Medham over at first base following the walk. Ellis 0 for 2 today. Reached on an error in the 4th. A ground ball that ricocheted off the forearm of Diego Murillo at second base. The first pitch. And Nico Button comes out of his squat to get to a fastball high and outside for ball 1. Sean York getting hot in the Blues bullpen, the Tiger from Riverside City College. Aiden Sims still out there. Ellis bounces it to Murillo at second. They'll flip it to Ardois for 1, and Comerford stretches but comes off the bag. Blues can only get the force out, and the throw couldn't get there in time. Comerford tried to get there sooner, but took his body off the bag. Medham forced out at second base, and Ellis reaches. Here's John Ewens. Ewens walked the last time he was up. Was forced out at second base and also recorded a fly ball out to Gavin Smith in the 2nd inning. Standard lead at first for Ellis as Sims delivers. And Ewens bounces it into the Crawdads dugout for strike 1. Crawdads wearing pinstriped white pants with black tops and red lettering with Dads across the front. Blues in their gray pants and their blue tops with silver blues across the chest with their B hat. The 0-1. And Ewens hits it off the hands to Ardois at short, who regains his balance and makes the throw on the run to Comerford for the 2nd out of the inning. A couple of missteps from Sam Ardois, but he recovered and made the nice throw to the first baseman Brendan Comerford for the 2nd out. In the process, Ellis advanced into scoring position at second base. 2 outs and Ryan Ellis at second, and brings up Zach Justice. Justice lined out to Ashlock in right field the last time he was up. He paired that with a strikeout looking in the 2nd. First pitch, buckled up on a changeup missing inside, 1-0 to Zach Justice. Justice, a lot of talent coming out of Bend, Oregon. Played in Eugene for the past 2 years. Redshirted his first and saw very limited time in his second, now in the transfer portal. 1-0. And pitch misses high, 2 balls and no strikes. And you've seen the command begin to wane a little bit for Aiden Sims, who only made 3 appearances in his first season of college baseball at Texas A&M. After those 3 appearances, he was still eligible for a red shirt, and he utilized it. The pitch, and 2-1 popped up and out of play. The catcher, Nico Button, won't have a play on it. 2 balls and 1 strike to Zach Justice. Riley Leininger is on deck. The Crawdads bench still chirping at the field umpires. Someone just got ejected. A bench coach for Walnut Creek will now head to the parking lot. Honestly, I don't know what could even be said here. Your team is up 5-2. You got a runner at second. There have been no bad calls today at the dish or on the field as well, and bench coach for Walnut Creek still trying to reconcile with the first base umpire, but he's insistent that he leaves. So he'll depart. The players love it for what it's worth. But I feel like a very avoidable ejection for Walnut Creek. Everything's kind of going your way. He's still going, talking with that first base umpire, and he might need some reinforcements to get him out of the field. So he finally leaves, and a reminder, runners at second base. A 5-2 game, Walnut Creek leads the SLO Blues. Zach Justice in the middle of an at-bat where he's sitting 2 balls and 1 strike. And Hayden Sim needs some warm-up pitches after that delay. Mason Ashlock getting an earful out in right field from the heckling fans as Sims gets back on the rubber. A 2-1 count here to Zach Justice. A 2-1 pitch, and Justice swings and misses for strike 2. A slider low and away from Sims, and it's just been filth all day. A 2-strike count, Justice slightly chokes up on his bat. 2-2. And Justice thought about going after it, but leaves it outside. Button backhands it. Full count. 3-2 to the former Oregon Duck, now in the transfer portal. Blues trailing 5-2 against the Crawdads in the bottom of the 5th inning from Monte Vista High School. Here's the payoff. And he swings and fouls it at home plate. We'll do it again at 3-2. Walnut Creek currently leads the CCL North right now with their 5-1 record. The Alameda Merchants continue to surprise. They're 6-2 in second. Sonoma Stompers a game ahead of the Blues at 5-4. San Luis Obispo just outside of that wild card playoff spot. If the season were to end today, the Blues would pack their bags and go home. But luckily, we have a lot more baseball left in the summer. 3-2 offering from Sims. Fouled off again at home. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming right up to the 5-hole hitter, Evan Justice. The 3-2. Justice leaves it high for ball 4. 4th walk of the day for Aiden Sims. More walks than strikeouts. Sean York still getting hot in that Blues bullpen as Dean Traynor heads out there to his right-hander from Texas A&M. Traynor looks at the pen but didn't make any moves. I've said before that, though Dean Traynor is the manager of this squad, when he comes out there to talk to a pitcher, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're coming out. He's got plenty of professional pitching experience, and when you have someone that's been around the game as long as Dean Traynor has, you always open an ear to hear whatever knowledge he has to say to a struggling pitcher. So with that walk, puts Ryan Ellis on second base and Zach Justice at first. The meeting disperses, and Sean York continues to warm up in the pen. Dean Trainer is going to ride with Aiden Sims with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Blues trail 5-2 against the Dads. It's Leininger, who's 0 for 2 today. A fly ball out to right field and a fielder's choice in the 4th, where he eventually came around to score. The first pitch, and Leininger checks his swing on a called strike 0-1. Leininger coming from Oklahoma, a very prestigious baseball program, and it's kind of a surprise that he is still playing baseball now, because at one point he wanted to quit in high school. Pitch misses outside. There's a back pick over to second base, and the throw goes into center field, but Murillo, the second baseman for the Blues, backs it up well. 1-1 to Riley Leininger. Yeah, believe it or not, wanted to quit baseball at one point in high school, but his dad convinced him to keep playing. Another homage to fathers a day before Father's Day. Putting your head on the right track, and Leininger ended up playing at Oklahoma. The 1-1. Leininger swings and misses on a fastball for strike 2. And Leininger looking for another Division I program into the portal after redshirting his first season at Oklahoma. A 6'2", 225-pound left-handing hitter. As time is called on the field, a pitch got away from a bullpen catcher and Brody Miller. So now ready to go on the 1-2. Runners on first and second. Blues trail by 3. The 1-2. Popped up and out of play to the left. We'll do it again at 1-2 to the left-handed hitting Riley Leininger. A 2-time district MVP at Georgetown High School in Georgetown, Texas, where he grew up. An all-region first-team honoree, also awarded by Perfect Game in 2024. The pitch. Leininger bounces it hard to the second baseman Murillo, who times it up on the big hop and flips it over to first in time, and the side is retired. The Blues get out of the jam. A ground ball out to Diego Murillo, strands Ryan Ellis and Zach Justice. 5-2. Walnut Creek leads as we head into the second inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. Okay. Donovan Jordan leads it off for the Blues in the top of the 6th inning. And the first pitch to him bounces off the chest of Justice and into the backstop for ball 1. It's Don Jordan, Mason Ashlock, and Gavin Smith due up for San Luis Obispo, where they trail 5-2 against the Crawdads in the top of the 6th. Jordan dances out of a way of a fastball missing inside, 2-0 to Don Jordan. Jordan's also making his first start in center field of the summer today. Made some rangy plays out there, and with the speed that he has, it makes sense that he should play center. Swings and misses here for strike one. Jordan playing in center field because E.J. Royal is out with an injury. Nothing serious, just trying to be cautious. He got hit with a baseball in the knee yesterday. Felt okay today as Jordan dribbles it into the Slow Blues bullpen and foul ground for strike two. 2-2 to Don Jordan. And E.J. took some swings. He ran around the diamond today, ran around the outfield. He's good, just wanted to make sure everything's 100%. So it's Jordan in a 2-2 count. And Jordan with a half swing and a slow roller up the middle. The second baseman Ellis with the backhand throws it over to first, not in time. I'm telling you, man, Don Jordan's got some plus speed over there. And he beat out the throw from the second baseman Ellis from the bag. So an infield base hit for Don Jordan, his first of the afternoon. And that brings up Mason Ashlock. First pitch, and Ashlock leaves it outside, ball one. It's still Ryan Delaney out there for the Walnut Creek Crawdads, working through this Blues lineup. Playing with a 3-run lead. Here's the 1-0. And this is a 55-footer in front of home plate. Ashlock gets out of the way for ball two. Ashlock digs back in and sits back in his stance. Ready to launch on the 2-0. The pitch. Misses outside. 3 straight balls to Mason Ashlock. "15 hits coming into today's game, looking for number 16 with the fastest player on the team at first. Pitch missing well outside, and that's ball 4 to Mason Ashlock. Back-to-back base runners for the Blues, and puts the fastest runner at second base and an above-average runner in Mason Ashlock at first. So it's Gavin Smith now, 0 for 2 today, a ground ball out and a strikeout swinging. Smith leaves a fastball high for ball 1. The time is called, and the assistant coach for Walnut Creek wants to talk to his southpaw. He takes his time getting out to the mound as the Dads have another big righty getting hot. Peter Storjan, a 6'5", 230-pound right-hander getting loose. Still conversing at the mound with runners at first and second, and Gavin Smith awaiting in a 1-0 count. They had dispersed and were ready to go. Nico Button awaits on deck. Wind blowing straight in for center field. Walnut Creek ahead 5-2 over the Blues. Smith leaves the pitch low for ball 2. Hitters count to Gavin Smith. He represents the tying run. "2-0. And a pitch is a called strike, a fastball barely hitting the outer half of the zone. 2-1 to Smith. Gavin leaves an identical fastball. Again, a called strike, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And we kind of saw this trend yesterday with the officiating behind home plate. The fastball away to right-handed hitters is getting called strikes. And Smith now having to adjust with 2. Pops it up here into left field. McGee and Leininger giving chase, and neither of them can get there. It bounces out of play over the fence. 2 balls and 2 strikes again to Gavin Smith. Jared Medham got involved there as too. That was quite a ways to run for Jared Medham. All the way from shortstop, and that left field foul ground is spacious, to say the least. A 2-2 count to Smith as Medham jogs back to his position. Don Jordan at second, Mason Ashlock at first. 2-2. Smith swings and misses for strike three. Gavin Smith goes down swinging for the first out of the sixth inning, and it's the second time he's struck out today. That brings up Nico Button now. Now Button represents the tying run for the Blues. Nico 0 for 1 today, a strikeout swinging in the fourth, and a walk in the second inning, where he scored on a Gavin Constantine sacrifice fly. Pitch misses low and inside, 1-0 to Button. Button swings and misses over a changeup for strike two, for strike one. Button not too far from home, born and raised in San Mateo, California. Able to see his family this weekend on this Northern California road trip. 1-1. Button leaves a slider, and it's a called strike on the outer half. Tough with two now. Nico Button digging back in as the tactician. Kate O'Hara standing on deck. The pitch. Button off the end of the bat lines it to the second baseman, Ellis, and that will retire the side as he taps second base. Crawdads still up 5-2 over the SLO Blues. Into the bottom of the sixth we go on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom of the order due up for the Walnut Creek Crawdads, and a new pitcher, Sean York, a right-hander from Riverside City College. Aiden Sims' day is done. After 5 innings of work, he let up 4 hits and 5 runs, all of them earned, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So now it's the big, tall right-hander in Sean York. York making his 4th appearance for the Blues this summer, and in 3 1/3 innings pitched, has surrendered 4 hits, 2 runs, none of them earned, 6 strikeouts to his 4 walks in 3 1/3 innings pitched. He's going to put it in the zone, and it's going to come in with some high velo too, and challenging these Walnut Creek hitters. A very vocal Walnut Creek team. As we transition into the bottom of the 6th inning, the pitcher for the Dads and Ryan Delaney bellowing into the Blues dugout after recording that final double play. It was an unconventional double play, a line out to the second baseman Ellis, who then tapped second base because Jordan had a lead off the bag, and he just caught it right behind the base and just tapped it. So Blues come up empty for the 4th time in a row. They put up 2 runs in the second and have been quiet ever since. So now it's Joey Donnelly, who is Walnut Creek's hottest hitter by far. Here's Sean York from the windup. And Donnelly checks his swing, and they appeal to third. He went around for strike 1. Donnelly has just been squaring up so many baseballs for Walnut Creek. He flared a couple yesterday for some base hits too. Pitches left high, 1 ball and 1 strike to Joey. After getting no playing time at Berkeley these past 2 seasons, his bat is coming to life here in the CCL in 2025. The 1-1. Donnelly leaves the fastball low, 2 balls and a strike. It's Joey Donnelly, Cam Taylor, and Casey McGee due up for the Crawdads. Bottom of the 6th inning here from Monte Vista. Blues trail by 3. Here's the 2-1. And Donnelly leaves the fastball low for ball 3. These pitches from Sean York aren't missing by much. He's trying to hit the lower half of the zone to the left-handed hitting Donnelly, and really, half a baseball, if that, is how much these pitches are missing. 3-1. Donnelly off the end of the bat to the shortstop, Ardois, playing in the shift. Makes a high throw to Comerford, but he stretches and makes the play for the first out of the inning. They played the shift perfectly on Joey Donnelly. Sam Ardois just playing to the left side of second base. Makes the backhanded play. And the throw to Comerford almost went high, but a nice stretch from Brendan. So now it's Cam Taylor, the home run hero back in the 4th inning, driving in 3 on his opposite field long ball. First pitch to him, and Taylor takes a fastball down the middle for strike 1. Utility player from Eastern Kentucky University. There's a nice-looking curveball dropping into the middle of the plate for strike 2. And Cam Taylor connected with Coach Cummings in the offseason and recruited him to come play for Walnut Creek this summer, coming all the way from Lithonia, Georgia. The 0-2. And Taylor dances out of the way of a 4-seamer for ball 1. Playing in his 4th game of the summer for Walnut Creek today. Had 10 at-bats coming into today's game with 3 hits. And that homer he hit was his 2nd of the summer. 1-2. And Taylor tardy on a fastball here, sending it out of play. We'll do it again at 1-2. Casey McGee stands on deck. He's 0 for 1 today. Cam Taylor 1 for 2 with a 3-run homer. The 1-2. Taylor hits a liner into center field, and it falls in front of Jordan. 1-out base hit for Cam Taylor. He's 2 for 3 today. The 7 and 8 spots are 4 for 6 today. Getting that production done in the lower half of the lineup. Crawdads good top to bottom. So now it's Casey McGee, who walked in the 4th inning and grounded out to Ardois. Bouncing ball the opposite way, and a tough hop off the chest of Constantine into the left field. Taylor goes from second to third. The throw goes to third, and it hits off the ankle of Taylor, who now thinks about going home but will stay at the base. Constantine slid into the dugout to get to the baseball, but York joins him. So McGee also advanced into second base. And debating on what the call is there over at third and Constantine. It took a wicked hop on the infield dirt. Constantine had it sized up, and he was ready to scoop it off the ground, and it bounced over his shoulder. A pretty deep lip over there on the infield grass, a long way to drop. Either way, Cam Taylor is at third, and Casey McGee is over at second base. I'll chalk it up as an error off the third baseman, Gavin Constantine. Second error of the day for the Blues, and now it's the leadoff man, Trey Johnson. Infield playing in with less than 2 outs, and Johnson dodges a fastball inside, 1-0. Trey Johnson collected his first base hit of this series between these two teams. In the third inning, it was an RBI single, and scored Joey Donnelly. York on the 1-0. And floats a curveball high and outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Trey Johnson. Couple of Ks with his RBI single in the third as well. Crawdads threatening with 2 runners in scoring position, already up by 5 against the Blues. The 2-0. Hard liner into center field. Jordan comes in. He makes the grab, and Taylor can't tag from third. The throw comes into Button. And Jordan on the transfer lost the baseball, and the umpires on the infield are going to converge and make sure that it came on the transfer. Don Jordan came in, made the charging play, and as he was transitioning the baseball into his throwing hand, it came out. And now we'll get all 3 field umpires to have a conversation about this. Either way, Cam Taylor wasn't in a good position to tag. It was hit so hard to Jordan in center field. He didn't have enough time to tag third and come in to score. That throw came in quickly. So either way, the run is not going to score, and they're going to say it was on the transfer that ball came out of Jordan's glove. So it's the second out of the 6th inning. No sacrifice fly for the leadoff man, Trey Johnson, who hurt that baseball into center field. It'll go as a line out to Jordan, and it's Jared Medham who's hitless today with a walk.
First off, Jared Medham.
First pitch to Medham, and he leaves the fastball high, 1-0. Cam Taylor at third and Casey McGee at second. 5-2, Crawdads lead. Medham takes a sweeper for strike 1. 1-1 to Jared Medham. Infielder from St. Mary's and a native of Half Moon Bay, California. Batting .389 this summer, heading to the game with 8 RBIs and a 4-seamer missing low and outside. 2 balls and a strike to Medham. Bit of an ironic call from the home plate umpire, as that zone has been expanding away to right-handers all day today, and York hit that exact spot, and Dean Traynor doesn't like it one bit. So it's a 2-1 count to Medham. The pitch. Medham hits a laser into center field. Jordan with good speed, but it falls in front of him. 1 run is in. A strong throw at the dish goes over the head of Button, and 2 runs come in to score. Medham advances to second base on the errant throw from John Jordan, and the Crawdads extend 7-2. 2 out, 2 RBI single from Jared Medham. He hit that one hard into center field. I thought Jordan, with the good speed he has out there, was going to be able to track it down. But it dropped just in front of him, and You can see the strong arm that Don Jordan's got on him, sailing that one over the head of Nico Button at home plate. So Medham advanced to second base off the high throw from Don Jordan at the dish, but he did drive in 2 runs on that single. Crawdads pulling away. First pitch swinging and missing is Ryan Ellis for strike 1. 3 runs on 2 hits this inning for the Dads. They lead 7-2 over the Blues. Ellis takes a pitch inside, 1-1. Made 54 starts this past season at UT Arlington. Second on the team in batting average at .298. 59 hits and 198 at-bats. Led the team in walks, too, with 33. Pitch misses high, Button stands up. 2 balls and 1 strike. Also finished second on the Mavericks roster in doubles with 17. Pretty good year after a 3-year stint at St. Mary's. 2-1. And Ellis takes a fastball low and inside. 3 balls and a strike. Again, didn't miss by much from Sean York. Timeout is called and some chirping from the Blues dugout. Brant Cummings might have been getting an earful from whoever was on that Blues bench. Again, not sure what could be said there from the Blues bench, but we resume play in a 3-1 count. York looks at second, now strides and shoot. Runners takes off to third. The pitch misses inside. It's ball 4, but the runner is thrown out at third. Jared Medham is caught stealing, trying to steal third base, and the side is retired. But not before the Crawdads get 2 more runs on a 2 RBI single from Jared Medham. 7-2, Walnut Creek, heading into the 7th inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the 7th inning is brought to you by Educational Employees Credit Union, proudly serving the Central Coast. EECU is located in Paso Robles and can be found at myeecu.org. Experience smarter banking at Educational Employees Credit Union. It's a new pitcher for the Walnut Creek Crawdads against the Blues, who are trailing 7-2 against the Dads. Peter Storjahan. He replaces Ryan Delaney, who went 3 2/3, 2 hits, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Cade O'Hara, the first batter, swings and fouls it right back into the screen for strike 1. Storjahan, the big right-handed pitcher for Walnut Creek, coming out of UC Santa Barbara, a native of Danville, California, formerly a JUCO Bandit from Diablo Valley College. O'Hara buckled up on a changeup inside, 0-2 to Cade. The pitcher of the year in 2023 at Diablo Valley. He was also first-team All-Big 8. That's the conference that Diablo Valley plays in, and second-team All-State in California. The 0-2. O'Hara leaves it outside, 1-2. A rising senior at UCSB. And in 2024, he just made 2 appearances for the Gauchos, both in relief, and did not allow an earned run on the season. Didn't play in 2025 due to a fractured clavicle, as O'Hara pops it up and out of play. We'll do it again at 1-2. Those hurt. Clavicle is the collarbone right underneath your neck, and it's hard. You can't even turn your head, and breathing hurts, and the physical action of it breaking is very painful as well. 1-2. O'Hara swings and misses for strike 3. Fastball blown by the former Longhorn, and it's the first out of the 7th inning. Storjahan's got a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and a good slider, and a changeup. Just a 3-picked mix. He's a consistent strike thrower and hasn't cracked that Santa Barbara starting rotation because there's just so much depth there. Slider missing low for ball 1. A deep UCSB team, which surprisingly did not win the Big West this year. That title went to Cal Poly. Always full of talent. Tyler Brennemer is the first name that comes to mind for the Gauchos, as Comerford swings and misses for strike 1. 1-1 count to Brendan. They're always preseason favorites to win the Big West Conference because they're so loaded with talent and they just have a good resume of recruits year in and year out, and Storjahan is no exception to that. 1-1. Comerford hits it into left field off the end of his bat. It's a bleeder into left, and it falls in for a base hit. Hard turnaround first. He heads into second base. The throw comes in. Feet first slide. It hits off his leg, and he's taken off towards third. There's no one at third base either. Heads up base running for Brendan Comerford. A 2-bagger for the Gonzaga commits. He catches the Crawdads sleeping and now stands at third base. Leininger wasn't at the bag at third because he was going out to track that pop out, that pop fly ball that Comerford hit, and couldn't make a play on it. Didn't get back to the bag fast enough, and Brentford's got 2 hits on the day. And here's Gavin Smith swinging and missing for strike 1. I checked that. It's Gavin Constantine. 1 of 1 on the day, a single in the 5th. It was his second hit of the summer. Constantine leaves a fastball outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Hit a sacrifice fly in the 2nd inning. And drove in Nico Button from third. He's got another runner at third here in Brendan Comerford. Blues trail 7-2. Here's Constantine. Slow grounder to the third baseman Leininger, who goes home and tags out Comerford. So the standard there, Comerford did the right thing. With 1 out, you read the ground ball coming off the bat. You were taught at third base, if you see that downward angle, to take off to home. Comerford did nothing wrong that time. That is what you are taught. And a tough break. Potentially would have been another run for the Blues. It's still 7-2 as Constantine reaches on the fielder's choice, and there's 2 gone for the leadoff man, Sam Ardois. It looks wrong. It looks like it might be something you'd have to read based on that ground ball, but with 1 out, you were coached up from high school through college, and I remember my college coach saying this too. As a matter of fact, we did this drill till we were blue in the face, trying to get everyone on the same page to run when there's a ground ball with 1 out at third base. Here's Ardois in a 1-0 count, and Sam takes a fastball outer half for strike 1. Ardois 1 for 2 today, grounded into a double play and ripped an RBI double in the 2nd. Also walked and stole third base, one leg and a double steal. 1-1. Ardois leaves a fastball inside. 2 balls and 1 strike now. Storyahan, the new pitcher for Walnut Creek, is a local kid from Danville who reached out to Coach Cummings to play for the Crawdads, and it was an easy yes for them. Very toolsy right-hander. Ardois, fastball blown by him for strike 2. It's a very workable frame. When you have a 6'5", 230-pound pitcher reach out to you and say, I want to play for you, you just say yes. Two. The opposite way, and Ardois winds it light to the second baseman Ellis for the 3rd out of the inning. Comerford with a double, but he's thrown out at the plate. It's still 7-2 Walnut Creek. Time to stretch at Monte Vista High School on the SLO Blues streaming network. Middle of the order due up for Sean York, the relief pitcher for San Luis Obispo, John Ewens, Zach Justice, and Riley Leininger. The Walnut Creek Crawdads lead the SLO Blues 7-2 in the bottom half of the 7th inning. John Ewens is 0 for 2 today with a walk in the 4th inning. From the stretch, here's York, and it's a pitch missing low and inside, rolling underneath the mitt of Button behind home plate for ball 1. Braden Barnes getting hot in the Walnut Creek bullpen, the former left-hander from Arizona State. Here's the 1-0. Fastball, same location. This time Button gloves it for ball 2. Blues trailing by 5. In the 6th inning, it was a 2 RBI single from Jared Medham that turned the 5 runs from the Dads to 7. Hard liner into the bullpen and a hard strike. 2-1 to Ewens. But really, the big separator in this game was back in the 4th. A 3-run homer from Cam Taylor. Left-hander went the opposite way and parked it over the porch. 2-1. Ewens bounces it to the third baseman Constantine, who makes the throw on the run right into the head of Comerford. And there's the 1st out of the 7th. Ardois and Constantine, really the entire left side of the infield. And when I say entire, I mean the rotation of infielders that the Blues have, because they are stockpiled with middle infielders on this team. Every infielder on the left side of the field this summer for the Blues has had so many plays where they have had to charge a ground ball. And I think that makes good practice for focus and running in towards the ball. Your eye level is moving so much as your feet hit the ground, your eyes bounce. And honestly, the uneven playing surfaces that the Blues have played on. Here's another one to Constantine, but it will roll foul as he clashes into the third base umpire. Constantine readjusting Something on his finger, maybe? Thought it was his sunglasses, but he's picking at his fingers over at third base. He ran into the third base umpire, and he hugged him to make sure he didn't fall. I think it is his sunglasses, so he needs a new pair. This isn't the first time that Constantine has had struggles with his sunglasses. In pregame against Game 1, or in Game 1 against the Sonoma Stompers, took a ground ball right to the face, and I thought his glasses broke on his face, but luckily he and the Oakleys were okay. That might not be the situation here. Here's the 1-1, and a pitch just missing off the plate. 2 balls and a strike to Zach Justice. 0 for 2 today. A walk in the 5th, a line drive out to Ashlock, and a strikeout looking. In his Crawdads debut, 0 for 2. Trying to extend the lead. And Justice hits it into the Blues bullpen foul for strike 2. Thought that was going to be another play for a left side of the infielder for the Blues to make. Just talked about how they've dealt with a lot of slow rollers in the infield grass. And this one hit a little bit harder. Constantine would have had to backhand this one to make the throw to first. But it was a foul ball. 2-2 to Justice. Softly hit, and it bleeds into right field. 1-out single for Zach Justice. There's his first hit in the red and black. One out and a runner at first now for Riley Leininger. Leininger hitless today. 0 for 3. One of the 3 runs to score on that Cam Taylor homer. He reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th. York from the stretch. And Leininger sends it out of the stadium foul for strike 1. Justice inching off first base. 0-1 count. And a fastball painted on the outer half for strike 2. Blues trying to induce a ground ball here, flip a double play with 1 out and a runner on first base. York peeks at the bag, now comes set from the belt. Strides and shoots on the 0-2. Hard liner into left field, and it falls in front of Gavin Smith. Runners go station to station, back-to-back singles for the Crawdads. 8th hit of the day for Walnut Creek, and it brings up their hottest hitter, Joey Donnelly, who's got a pair today, including an RBI single in the 4th. The Cal Berkeley transfer after 2 inactive years for the Golden Bears. Moves out of the way of a breaking pitch inside, 1-0. And it looks like Cade O'Hara will head out to the mound in the bullpen to get hot. The 1-0. And Donnelly sends it straight back into the fence for strike 1. O'Hara DHing today. Able to warm up in the bullpen for the Blues. Leininger with his hands on his knees at first. And that Zach Justice at second base, standing upright. The 1-1. Hit into center field and tailing away from Don Jordan, who's at the warning track, and it one-hops the wall. 1 run comes in to score. And it will be an RBI double for Joey Donnelly, his 3rd hit of the day and his 2nd RBI. Donnelly seeing it awfully well. 3 hits in a row. Makes it an 8-2 ball game. Walnut Creek leads. And a tough play for Don Jordan out in center field. hot off the bat of the left-handed hitting Donnelly. And whenever a lefty goes the opposite way, you're going to get a lot of tail towards the left field line. And if that ball was hit just a little more straight, I think Jordan, with the speed that he has in center, would be able to make an easier play. So now here's Cam Taylor with a couple of hits today, one of them a 3-run home run in the fourth. He's standing in with runners at second and third, and the first pitch to him is a fastball missing high, 1-0. Infield playing in with less than 2 outs and 2 runners in scoring position. Taylor looking for at least a fly ball here. Already up 8-2 over the Blues. The 1-0. Pitch misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes. So Joey Donnelly just scored Evan Justice in an RBI double. Donnelly now stands at second base, and Riley Leininger is at third. 1 out in the 7th inning. Here's the 2-0. Big swing and a miss for strike 1. And that's one thing about these Walnut Creek hitters. When you think about it, they don't miss that often. They put on hard swings, and more often than not, they make contact with the baseball, whether it's in fair or foul territory. They could send it straight back, or they could hit it off the wall or even over the wall. That's something the Blues are missing. 2-1. And the pitch is down the middle for strike 2. Blues offense is kind of something that's been tough to figure out this season. You just don't know what kind of bats are going to show up on a given day. It could be an absolute hit parade like they had yesterday, or against the San Francisco Seagulls, or they could just get completely shut out and strike out a bunch. Strikeouts haven't been a problem today. And swinging and missing, and strike 3 is Cam Taylor. Assuring a second out for Sean York. It's the 4th strikeout of the day for the Walnut Creek offense. Bottom of the 7th. Dads haven't struck out in 3 innings. And there's part of what I was saying right there. Their ability to not strike out. As Casey McGee steps in with runners at second and third. But the Blues have a twinge in them of that in them too, as McGee leaves a fastball inside for ball 1. I feel like the Blues have good fights in their at-bats. And sometimes they win them, sometimes they lose them, obviously. But how do they lose them, and how do they win them? It's very different than how Walnut Creek goes about it. When Walnut Creek wins an at-bat, it's extra bases. When the Blues win an at-bat, it's a dribbling grounder and a throw gets away and the runner advances to second base. Now, all that said, it's funny and ironic because the Blues have 5 home runs on the season, and we're not even, I think we're about a quarter of the way through the year, and I think the Blues had 5 homers last season in total. That's in 50 games played. We're in game 16. Fouled straight back into the fence for strike 1. So it's very strange. It kind of makes, I think that kind of shows you the dichotomy of this team. They can show up, and the bats show up in bunches. You get the power. It's a little streaky, though. Consistency is the word of the summer for the Blues. 1-1. Bouncing ball to the left side. Ardois chops his feet and makes the throw over to first in time, and the side is retired. Casey McGee grounds out to short and strands 2 runners on, but not before an RBI double from Joey Donnelly. Makes it an 8-2 ball game. We head into the 8th inning on the Slow Blues Streaming Network. New pitcher for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. It's the left-hander, a former Sun Devil from Arizona State, Braden Barnes. He's replacing Peter Storhan, who went an inning of work, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and a singular strikeout allowed by the UC Santa Barbara Gaucho. As for the new pitcher in Barnes, he's a rising junior from Chandler, Arizona, in the transfer portal after a season at ASU didn't quite go his way. It's his second season with the Walnut Creek Crawdads. He was 2-1 with a 3.37 in 26 and 2/3 innings pitch last summer in 2024, and he was also ranked the number 3 left-handed pitcher in Arizona out of Basha High School, which is the same high school that Gavin Smith attended when he prepped. This season for Walnut Creek, a 6.23 earned run average, making his 3rd appearance with the Dads, and the first offering to Gavin Smith misses for ball 1. In 4 1/3 innings pitch, 8 strikeouts and 1 walk with 4 hits. This is coming against the Seagulls and the Merchants, as Constantine takes a strike here. Kate O'Hara is still lingering around in that Blues bullpen. Sean York just gave up another run to Walnut Creek off an RBI double from Joey Donnelly last inning. Bouncing ball from Murillo up the middle. It kicks off the mound, and Ellis has got it at second. Murillo beats the throw over to first. Good hustle from Diego Murillo, and he beats out the slow roller to Ellis. An infield base hit for the second baseman, Murillo. A new shortstop as well. Jared Medham is out of this game. Chris Esquivel over at shortstop now. So now it's Don Jordan, who's got some work out there in center field as the lefty picks over to first base and Murillo's back in time. Jordan 1 of 3 today, a single, a ground ball out, and a strikeout. They pick over Murillo at first, and they got him at second on the tag. It's a good lefty move from Braden Barnes as he picks off Murillo over at first base, and instead of trying to get in a rundown, he just tried to book it over to second, tried to play it confidently, and it didn't work out his way. So now Don Jordan with the bases empty and 1 out. Jordan moves out of the way of a cutter inside, 1 ball, no strikes. The boys call him Bando, as he almost gets hit by a four-seamer here, 2-0. It comes from a story that involves him playing with money in his back pocket. Bands, Bando. The band's used to wrap money. 2-0. Jordan swings and misses for strike 1 on a high fastball. I'm not going to lie, that's one of the cooler nicknames I've ever heard. And Jordan in a 2-1 count. Fastball taken for strike 2. And that's paint right there from Braden Barnes, who had a short stint with the Sun Devils in the regular season, just pitched in a game against Ohio State, and then didn't get the work that he was anticipating. 2-2. Jordan chases the high fastball for strike 3. Barnes stares him down as Don heads back into the dugout with the second out of the 8th inning. Second K of the day for Don Jordan as well, as Mason Ashlock looks to turn it around with 2 outs in the 8th. Blues running out of time, trailing big against Walnut Creek, 8-2 in the top of the 8th. Ashlock takes a curveball for a called strike. Mason today is hitless, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a walk. The right fielder from Texas swings and misses for strike 2. And that's what, like I said earlier, that's been Ashlock's kryptonite this summer. The fastball away, changeups away, especially with a left-hander here and Braden Barnes. I'd go right back to the changeup because Ashlock swings at it. He does, and Ashlock leaves it for ball 1. Mason, 2 cartoonish seasons at JUCO ball at Temple College and Weatherford College. Talked with him before today's game. A lot of Division I schools in Texas have interest. And he moves his back foot out of the way of a slider, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 multiple Texas schools and then 1 California school. You're playing in the CCL. You're going to get that. 2-2. And Ashlock takes it down the middle for strike 3. Efficient inning for Braden Barnes as we head into the bottom of the 8th. Blues still trail 8-2 against the Walnut Creek Crawdads on the SLO Blues streaming network. Blues trail 8-2 against the Walnut Creek Crawdads in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And a new pitcher, Cade O'Hara, replaces Sean York, who after 2 innings of work allowed 5 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. First pitch to the leadoff man, Trey Johnson, misses high and outside for ball 1. O'Hara, for the Blues, making his 5th appearance as a pitcher. He's pitched in 7 innings, allowed 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 of them earned, walk and 4 strikeouts, as this is an infield pop-up to Ardois for the first out of the inning. I've said before about Cade pitching. This isn't some story of, oh, that's kind of cool, like a hitter turned pitcher and he's kind of able to pitch. No, he can pitch against SEC competition. He competed frequently against SEC hitters when he was at the University of Texas. He has now since hit the transfer portal. But while he was at UT Austin, a .275 earned run average and 1 save, as this one's lined up the middle, and it'll be a base hit for the new hitter, Esquivel, who rounds first. 6 walks and 12 strikeouts and 19 2/3 innings pitched. So very much a proven pitcher at a high Division I level. This is no feel-good story. O'Hara can legitimately pitch in late innings for a ball club. Esquivel is over at first base. He replaced Medham at short. Pitch missing outside to Ellis as Cam Krogan gets hot in that Walnut Creek bullpen, trying to close it out against the Blues in the top of the 9th. Runner on first, 1 out, as O'Hara comes set and strides and shoots. Fastball is hit well in the air to right field. Ashlock is there, and he makes the running grab in the right center gap for the second out. Ellis didn't miss by much. He finishes the day hitless, and it brings up John Ewens, who is also hitless today. 2 outs, a runner at first. Blues trail by 6 against Walnut Creek, and Cade O'Hara pitching. Blues struck first in this ball game with a sacrifice fly from Constantine and then an RBI double from Ardois. And ever since then, have been quiet. 8 unanswered runs for the Blues. First pitch to Ewens, misses outside, ball 1. It was that second inning that really felt like the Blues were going to be on the right side of this ball game today, and they need to be. They're 1-2 on this road trip right now. They desperately want to even it up. And Ewens fouls it behind home plate, and I think actually fouled it off the home plate umpire who hobbles around the dish. He's got padding on top of those feet, but it doesn't matter. It's a 1-1 count. The home plate umpire trying to shake it off as Ewens idles in foul ground. Gives a thumbs up. I think we're all good to go. He wore that proud right there. That's not an easy thing to do. 1-1 count to John Ewens. As we dig back in, the heckling crowd in right field has dwindled down to about a handful of people. The 1-1, and Ewens leaves a fastball high, 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch misses just low. 3 balls and 1 strike now to Ewens. Couple of ground ball outs, a fly out, and a walk today for John, first baseman from Baylor. Zach Justice stands on deck wearing the shin pads as the catcher. The 3-1, and Ewens sends it right into the backstop for strike 2. Full count to John Ewens, the first baseman. Bottom of the 8th inning. O'Hara trying to get the bat back in his Blues' hands. Average lead at first for Esquivel. The payoff. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Cade O'Hara strikes out John Ewens, and we'll go into the 9th inning. Last call for the Blues as they trail by 6 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Due up for, check that, 5-6-7 due up for San Luis Obispo as Cam Krogan looks to close out this game for Walnut Creek. First pitch to Smith, rolls in the dirt and into the backstop for ball 1. Smith is hitless today with a pair of Ks and a ground ball out. It's a new pitcher for Walnut Creek, and Cam Krogan Braden Barnes went 1 inning of work, allowed a hit, and struck out 2. The Arizona State transfer looked great. Fastball hits the outside corner to Smith for strike 1. Nico Button stands on deck for the Blues. He's then followed by Cade O'Hara, who pitched this past frame. Bouncing ball in front of the Blues dugout for strike 2. Smith has had trouble this season trying to straighten it out. And he kind of represents what this Blues offense is. Moments of power and barreling up balls, followed by a lot of outs. Here's a soft grounder to the second baseman, Ellis, who makes an awkward throw on the run to first, but retires Smith nonetheless. So 1 out now for Nico Button. A line-out double play in the 6th, a strikeout swinging, and a walk in the 2nd. Button actually scored the first Blues run of the day. Blues scored their only 2 runs this afternoon in the 2nd inning from the Constantine sac fly and from the Sam Ardois double. Pitch misses inside to Button, 1-0. Since then, goose eggs across the board. Delaney, Storhan, Barnes, and maybe now Krogan shutting out these Blues bats. Button, high bouncing ball to the first baseman Ewens, who will flip it to first, and the pitcher Krogan wins the foot race. Blues down to their final out in the top of the 9th inning, trailing by 6, and Cade O'Hara coming up to the dish. O'Hara hitless today, a couple fly ball outs and a strikeout swinging. Just finished pitching in relief for the Blues. An inning of work, allowed a hit, no runs or walks, and struck out a batter to end the frame. First pitch to O'Hara is a called strike on the outer half. Cade, returning Blue, had never played at Walnut Creek before this week. Hard liner up the ankle of the pitcher Krogan, who flips it to first in time, and that ends the ball game. Hot shot from Cade O'Hara at 6:41 p.m. ends it at Monte Vista High School, and the Blues drop the series 1-3 on this 4-game road trip. Well, welcome inside the broadcast booth, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nate Mills on the SLO Blue Streaming Network on the Ancient Owl postgame show. A tough one for San Luis Obispo. I think the expectations for this road trip were to come out of it at least 2-2. Some people were ambitious to go as far to say 3-1, if that's from within the team, and obviously that's what you would like. But for me, I think 2-2 was a benchmark that they were looking for and that they were aiming for. They don't reach the mark. They finished 1-3. Their one win coming against a team that you should beat every single time, the San Francisco Seagulls, who are now riding a 6-game losing streak. Blues got a W there, but were smashed by Walnut Creek twice and lost to Menlo Park as well. A heartbreaking walk-off win yesterday and a dominant 8-2 victory today for the Dads puts the Blues in a 1-3 hole on this road trip. They fall on the season to 10-6, and they are now 4-5 in conference play, hovering around that 500 mark as they have been all summer. And look, there's a lot of time left if the Blues have these playoff aspirations. The top 3 teams in each division will make the postseason. As it stands right now, the Blues are not in the playoff picture. Just for fun, let's look at the CCL South. Santa Barbara doesn't qualify for the postseason because they go to the Summer Baseball World Series up there in Kansas. So it's Arroyo Seco, Conejo, and the San Diego Waves that would make those postseason spots if the season were to end. Right behind them is the OC Riptide. So it's very competitive in the CCL South, not as competitive in the North, and that's kind of advantage Blues right there. They have a route to the postseason that is very, very attainable for them. But what's next for San Luis Obispo? Well, it's a 3-game homestand, a much-needed return back to the Central Coast. 2 games against Sonoma. You have the chance to bounce back against them. And then you have one against Arroyo Seco on June 19th, which is Western night. You get 50% off your ticket if you dressed in Western attire at Sinsheimer Stadium. So after that 3-week homestand in San Luis Obispo, they head back on the road again and this will be the last time this summer they will have an overnight trip on the road. A SoCal swing, a game against the MLB Academy Barons, the OC Riptide, and then the Santa Barbara Foresters down in Santa Barbara. So Blues, again, need to take at least 2 in this homestand and need to take at least 2 on this SoCal swing just to keep that momentum up, just to keep the bats going. And I mentioned it on the broadcast too. Consistency is key. You never really know which team you're going to get on a given day. And again, that's summer ball. You're not going to always get a consistent lineup as guys are needing their reps. And it's a hard job for Dean Trainer, the manager, to have a consistent lineup because you have players that are paying to play for you. And it's just the nature of summer ball. So, Blues are trying to be consistent, but at the same time, you look at other teams like Walnut Creek, and they're consistent every single time. Yes, they can get a little rowdy in the dugout and have their fans and have their players chirp maybe excessively, but they ambush pitches. They're ready early in the count, and they swing early and often. And when they miss, their misses aren't big swing and misses. They are fouled off away out of the stadium. They're fouled off to the left, fouled off to the right, but when they hit it, it is a frozen rope into the outfield. They hit liners all over the field. Their righters go the opposite way. Their lefties go backside. It's just a very complete offensive team, Walnut Creek is. Much like last year, the Blues are trying to find that model as they looked to make the postseason again this summer. All right, that'll do it from the Ancient Owl postgame show. The Blues dropped the final game of the 4-game road trip, 8-2 against Walnut Creek. They head home and will play Tuesday against the Sonoma Stompers 2 times, and then against the Aurora Seco Saints before heading back to Southern California. My name is Nate Mills. Thank you for tuning into the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Hope you all have a great day.